The average world salary is about 5,000 US dollars. So if you're making 50,000, then you're already in the top 0.5% of the world. You don't have to wait until you reach financial independence to start enjoying your life. You can do that much earlier and start living a life that you love and that's true to you. Welcome to Freedom Before FI. Using FIRE and life design techniques, we help you create freedom on your way to FI instead of waiting until you're retired to do the things that light you up. I'm your host Greg, a FIRE movement and life design enthusiast. If you're itching to get freedom now, then let's do this. Hello there and welcome back. So we're going to be continuing with the remaining 10 rules of Ikigai. On the previous episode, we covered rules 1 to 5. So let's jump right into rule number 6, which is to simply smile. Yep, just to smile. Now I remember when I was younger, I used to get these little headaches from time to time. And one of my older sisters, Jasmine, used to tell me to try smiling as it helped her when she used to get headaches as well. So I was like, what? Just randomly smiled to myself in an empty room. Anyway, I tried it, and lo and behold, it actually kind of worked. Well, it didn't remove my headache altogether, but it relieved the pain somewhat, even just for a few seconds. So apparently, since we typically smile when we're happy, the muscles we use when we smile trigger our brains to produce endorphins, which is the chemical that relieves pain and stress. So basically, it's like a free natural drug, but its benefits are priceless. So that's why I think it's just a no-brainer to regularly do things that put a smile on your face. And if you're one of the lucky ones that reach to the end of my episodes, it's something that I always say, which is to do things that make you smile. Because what's the point doing things that make you frown? Life is about enjoyment, and being happy makes you live longer, so it's a win-win. Of course, we can't be happy all the time, but the more times we can put smiles on our face every day, the more enjoyment you can get out of life. So some ideas you can do here are things like be around people that make you laugh. We always have that funny one in a group or in our families. Literally, just organize occasions for you guys to get together, have fun and create funny memories. So we talked about this in episode 31, if you want to have a listen. It's about the book Die With Zero. The author suggests creating these awesome moments that gives you memories that you can draw from in the future. He calls it memory dividends. That way, you can enjoy the actual moment itself, and also you can reminisce on those funny stories with people in the future at any time. There's also some simple things like maybe it's watching something funny. Like for me, I love watching stand-up comedies like Trevor Noah, Russell Peters, Chris Rock, Joe Coy. Or what you can do is scroll through some old photos on your phone. If you're lucky enough to have old physical photo albums, those always bring up a little chuckle here and there. Luckily, my wife's a bit of a comedian, and she always does these little funny things every day, or says funny things in random situations or random moments, so that really helps. Anyway, it doesn't have to be something comic. You can smile about things that you love, whether it's your kids, your family, doing things that you enjoy, being in awesome places, like going places with nice views. Like for me, I'm always smiling when I'm surrounded by nature, where I've got views of trees, mountains, valleys, things like that. So for you, whatever floats your boat really, or whatever bakes your cake, as they say. Bottom line is smiling is awesome. So let's just do more stuff that makes us smile. Number 7 is to reconnect with nature. So around the 1980s in Japan, work stress was skyrocketing. Leaders and doctors started to look at Buddhist and Shinto traditions as a remedy. One of the things that they adopted was what was called Shinrin-yoku, which translates as forest bathing. This was basically spending time in nature as a way to relax and to help heal. Doctors were actually prescribing this to patients. Now today, Japan has over 40 dedicated forest therapy trails. So most of my time living in Philippines was mainly in the city central. And Manila, which is the capital of Philippines, is a proper concrete jungle. I mean, there are a few little parks here and there, but it's not as much as back in London, for example, outside of London. Anyway, on weekends or holidays, we'd always try to get away, whether to the mountains or to the coast, the beach, because I find nature really healing. Because I think, as humans, we are made to be part of the natural world. It was our natural habitat. But of course, because us humans are super smart, over the years we've built walls and roofs to protect ourselves. Then we built cities, megacities, running water, drainage, power, and all of that. We got super comfortable, but became surrounded by all man-made things. But I think at our core, our bodies are just yearning to be in nature, to be in its natural environment. Studies show being in nature is calming, reduces stress, and improves our focus and clarity. This year, since we've moved a little bit outside of the city, it's only a tad bit more green, and there's still a lot of concrete around, but I can feel the little positive effects already. Anyway, if you need more nature in your life, perhaps you can do things like join a group hike, go camping, or just simply stroll in any green areas that are near you. Of course, mountains and beaches would be awesome, but a local park would be good as well. Do a quick Google map search on your local area and just see what green areas are around nearby and try it out. Maybe you can make a weekly or daily habit to just be around nature. Let's move on to rule number 8, which is to give thanks. Now, it's well documented that one of the absolute keys to happiness is gratitude. And it's another thing that I remind people at the end of my episodes because I believe in it so much. But for some reason, we always want more. Whether it's a bigger house, more money, a nicer car, a nicer neighborhood, a better salary, the latest gadgets. Sometimes we tend to focus on what we lack, or we compare ourselves to others, which reminds me of the quote, "Comparison is the thief of joy." Anyway, if we focus on what we have instead and be grateful for it, the pressure valve gets released a bit. Whenever I get in frustrating situations, one of the little hacks I do, when I remember, is to reframe my thoughts positively. So for example, there's a few times where I've been stuck in traffic or waiting in a really long queue. Instead of being annoyed that we're stuck in traffic, I try to come up with positives in that situation. So for example, at least I have my phone on me. I can use this time to listen to a podcast or book summary. Like in Philippines, it's so hot here. If I'm in a car, I say like, oh, at least the air conditioning's on, it works. Like imagine if it was broken. Or if I'm in an office or a mall, like at least there's shade, there's air conditioning. If I'm not ill that day, I say to myself, well, at least I'm not sick or I'm not injured or anything like that. Just try to look at the positives. In the book, The Happiness Equation, the author Neil Pasricha tells us to remember the lottery as a way to be more happy. But essentially, it's a gratitude practice. We have to remember how fortunate we are in life. So he says, the first lottery is that among all the planets, we get the one that can support us, i.e. one that supports life. The second lottery is being born as a species that dominates the planet. The third lottery is that we were born today rather than the time when we didn't have any advanced medicine or in wars and things like that. The fourth lottery is that your ancestors made you here today. The fifth lottery is that you're alive today. And the sixth lottery is that you're born into relative comfort in comparison to the rest of the world. The average world salary is about $5,000 US. So if you're making 50,000, then you're already in the top 0.5% of the world. So be grateful for what you have and just remember the lottery.